Hey, good afternoon, everyone. This is Eric with MemphisWeather.net. Richard here with me as well, and taking the opportunity with a few storms around the area to practice our live stream a little bit on YouTube and actually talk about some weather that's going on out there. And so thank you for joining us. We'll have hopefully more joining as we go through this. And just wanted to start off with a little bit of an overview of what we're dealing with right now, and just give you the setup. And if you are joining us on YouTube, not only do we appreciate that, we also would appreciate if you would make sure that you subscribe to the channel and you click the little bell to get notified, because we will be doing more of these as weather dictates and time allows. So make sure that you are subscribing and getting the notifications on this channel, so that you can know when we're live and going to be talking about this weather situation. So we'll stay right here with this radar for a minute, just kind of give you an overview of what's going on. It is 6 p.m. on Tuesday evening, September the 6th, and we have a cold front that is just kind of very slowly moving through the Mid-South right now. In fact, it's pretty close to the Tennessee-Mississippi line, and it is going to be pushing slowly into North Mississippi and kind of stalling out actually for the next couple of days or so. But this is probably the most active weather we'll get from this front over the next few days. There are thunderstorms that have been ongoing from late this afternoon, the past couple of hours, kind of moving to the southeast. Those have been erupting right along cold front, and actually an outflow boundary that has moved through as well. Basically, the outflow boundary is kind of the front itself, and has sparked these storms to form over the metro. Pretty heavy rain in some of those, and as we look at the radar right now, you can see they're kind of along the Tennessee-Mississippi line down into the northern part of Marshall County, and then moving west over towards Little Rock. And there's also a few storms behind the front that are dropping down out of northeast Arkansas from the Jonesboro area, dropping down towards Mark Tree, and heading kind of into northern Crittenden County. So that's what we're looking at right now, and I think we'll take the opportunity here then to dive into these storms just a little bit, tell you where things are happening and what to expect out of these. So take this screen here and be able to talk through this just a little bit. So this is the current radar right now, and you can see there's quite a bit of activity kind of right along that front from south of Searcy across Forest City into southern Crittenden County, southern Shelby County, and then moving east into northern Marshall County, which is probably where the strongest storm is right now, and then those back up to the north as well. We're going to keep our attention to those storms in the metro then, so I'm going to zoom into this and we'll take a little bit closer look at where these storms are right now. So some pretty heavy rain, a little bit of lightning over from around Hughes, and just to the east of that over into far southern Crittenden County, just north of Horseshoe Lake, and south of Anthonyville. That's around State Highway 50 there. Those storms have very heavy rain and are moving to the southeast. We have some additional storms in the southern part of Shelby County, and we'll take a good close look at these. Looks to be kind of to the west of the airport, the Whitehaven area, over towards T.O. Fuller State Park, into the Westwood area. Pretty heavy rain in that region, kind of right south of where I-55 makes that bend to the north and heads up towards the Mississippi River there. And then we have additional heavy rain that looks like it's just north of the airport. This is going to be along the south leg of 240, east of Airways over towards Lamar exit, and then even east from there as we head over towards Perkins and Getwell, and then right down the 78 corridor there, this Lamar Avenue from the interstate heading southeast towards Mississippi down into Capelville. So some fairly heavy rain in the Parkway Village area, just east of Oak Haven. It's kind of surrounding the airport on the northeast and west there. But they've gotten some rain there at the airport. The temperature's down to 76 degrees there. And I'm calling this from the north side of Bartlett, where we have not gotten any rain this afternoon, and it's still sitting around 82. So the clouds have helped to cool it down a little bit, but the rain is pushing it down into the 70s where it's falling. And then if we back out a little bit, we can see a little bit of that light rain around the edges of those storms over in the Hickory Ridge area, down towards the state line, and then into the Olive Branch area. And it looks like some pretty decent rain falling right in the middle of Olive Branch over to Olive Branch Airport, and then headed southeast from there. So that's kind of what we're looking at in that area. And then if I back out just a little bit, we'll take a look at a pretty good storm here that is moving down into Marshall County. There is a significant weather advisory out that's kind of like a junior thunderstorm warning. It's got some strong winds in that system, maybe 40 miles an hour or so, and maybe some pea-size hail in it as well, along with quite a bit of lightning, and that's moved down into Holly Springs now. So the town of Holly Springs is getting dumped on right now with a lot of very heavy rain, and that system is moving to the southeast. And in fact, we just got a new significant weather advisory out for the leading edge of that storm as it's moving through Holly Springs and southeast from there. That's radar indicating a strong thunderstorm moving southeast at 15 miles an hour. Winds are over 30 miles an hour, and there's some pea-sized hail possible in there as well. So watch out for those gusty winds. That goes through 645. 4 areas from basically where the leading edge of the storm is: Hudsonville, down into Holly Springs, the Holly Springs Airport, Red Banks, all of those areas, and then southeast from there, moving outside over into Benton County, outside of the Marshall County line to towards Ashland, and then down towards Potts Camp down in the southeastern portion of Marshall County. So that is probably the strongest storm we've got right now, and I think I'll split the screen up and we'll take a look at what the winds are showing down there around Holly Springs. And looks like the radar is estimating somewhere in the neighborhood of maybe 35 to 40 miles an hour down right over Holly Springs right now. And that's going to be pushing down 78 towards Potts Camp as that storm moves southeast over the next 20 or 30 minutes. They're not moving real quickly, but they're moving just enough to not cause probably real significant flooding hazards. They're not just sitting in one place, but they're also not moving real quickly. So it's going to take a little while for this storm to pass over Holly Springs. So if you're driving down 78 or you're in the Holly Springs area, certainly going to be getting quite a bit of rain and maybe some small hail and gusty winds as you pass through that area, and that's going to affect the southeast portions of Marshall County going through the next half hour or so. So that's what's going on down there. We'll take another quick look back up to the northwest and see what's coming into the metro from the northwest, and not necessarily expecting these storms to hold together completely as they move into the metro. Most likely areas that'll see rain out of these is going to be northern parts of Tipton County here in the metro, and then the northern part of Crittenden County as well. And those are probably a good 45 minutes or so out from reaching kind of the edge, the northwestern edge of our coverage area up there. But if they do hold together, we're looking at probably by 7 o'clock or so, might start to see those pushing into western Tipton and northern Crittenden County. There is also a weather statement out on those storms that goes, looks like that might have actually expired already, just expired. But some small hail and definitely some lightning in those storms as well as they push off to the southeast. But just kind of scattered back behind that, and those storms would be multiple hours out before they get here at the speed they're moving, which I don't expect, because I think in the next couple of hours we're going to see a lot of this dying off as the sun sets, the temperatures start to drop, and that front kind of loses a little bit of its punch between the heavier or the higher temperatures ahead of it and the cooler air that's coming in behind it. So for right now, I would say if you're right here in the Memphis area, the main concerns are going to be along the south leg of 240 and then south from there. So if you're headed down 61 to western DeSoto County, or maybe going down towards Tunica, that area along Highway 61 is going to be an area where you'll get some heavy rain after you drop south of I-55. And then the Lamar Avenue corridor from the 240 loop down to, I'd say probably Shelby Drive or so. Yeah, that's Shelby Drive, right, east-west road there that cuts through Capelville. So that is where the big railroad station is down there. I can't think of the name up for it. But that the large railroad complex, Burlington Northern, I believe, has a big transfer complex down there and southeast of the airport. So those are the areas where that rain is falling right now. Let's let this loop through just a little bit, and we'll kind of see what's been going on and where this is progressing. I'll back out just a little bit, and I think I'm going to go to one screen here as well, so we get a little bit of picture of this. So those storms are moving off to the southeast, and you can kind of see the outflow. This thin blue line that is running through North Mississippi, all of these storms have fired up behind that outflow boundary and are moving to the southeast, and they pulse up pretty quickly, get pretty good heavy downpours out of those. Again, maybe some small hail or gusty winds. And other than that, those storms just pulse up and then kind of die off within 30, 45 minutes or so, and new storms develop. The real exception to that right now is that storm down in Holly Springs, which is still going to be producing quite a bit of rain and lightning for some time here. But most of us in the metro are under dry conditions right now with muggy air and not too bad of temperatures, dropping down into the lower 80s at most places. So if you're just joining us, this is Eric with MemphisWeather.net, and doing one of these live streams to give you an idea of what's going on around the metro and talk through some of these storms. If you've got any questions or anything for us, feel free to send those to us either via the comments on YouTube, or you can hit us up on Twitter. We'll be happy to answer any questions. We're not going to stay on here a real long time. We don't have a lot of severe weather going on, but just want to get the opportunity to let you know how this works and how you can find us when severe weather does come through. So just to do a little practice here. So these storms are going to continue kind of moving to the southeast, especially with that outflow boundary pushing to the south. I don't really see a lot of new storms that are firing up behind that outflow boundary, which probably tells me that when these storms that exist right now kind of start to die off a little bit here, probably in the next hour or so, we probably won't see a lot more activity in the metro behind this as the sun sets and temperatures are already cooling off pretty quickly, especially where that front has moved through. It's dropped temperatures down. We had a high here in Bartlett today of 92. It was 92 at the airport. And the airport's already down to 75. And I've not gotten any rain, but I'm down to 82 as well. So the air is already cooling ahead of sunset, and that's going to be helpful for these storms to not last very long as we go into the evening hours. So again, just mostly on the south side of the city is where some of the heavy rain is falling. If you're down in the Horseshoe Lake area, you've got a couple of pretty decent little storms that are heading in that direction. We'll stop this and take a quick look, and I think I'll pull up I think I'm going to pull up the product that shows this hail possibility just to see if there's anything showing up. Maybe just a little bit on this cell up north of Horseshoe Lake, moving into western DeSoto County. There's could be some very small hail in that, pea-sized hail. It's not going to last very long, and it's mostly just in the main core of that cell, which is just barely into far northwestern DeSoto County, moving kind of east-southeast towards Highway 61 south of Walls, and probably parts of Horseshoe Lake there as well. If we pan over just a little bit, I'm really not seeing any indications of any hail or anything right here in the immediate metro. And then down there around Holly Springs, there's definitely the potential for some hail in that storm. It looks like radar's picking up maybe about 3/4 of an inch, so nickel-size hail or so could be falling in that storm as it moves. That section of the storm is now just southeast of Holly Springs. The heaviest rain is probably right over them right now, but it looks like the stronger hail signature is down here around 178 and Highway 78 to the southeast of Holly Springs is where the best chance of hail appears to be down there. And this is not severe hail. There's not a severe thunderstorm warning in effect. This is a special weather statement, which just basically means that we have something a little bit more than your average everyday run-of-the-mill thunderstorm, but not quite to severe limits. So some gusty wind and some hail going on down in that cell. Let's take a look. Oh, and I flipped the wrong one, so we'll just go here and take a look at those wind values. And the leading edge of that storm, which is down on 78 southeast of Holly Springs, is where the strongest winds appear to be. And we're looking at about maybe 40 or 45 miles an hour. Now that's the radar beam at that point is at that distance is about 3,500 feet above the ground as well. So we're not seeing exactly what's going on down on the ground. We don't have any stations down there that can report the conditions that are actually going on the ground. But with the thunderstorm overhead and the winds not too far off the surface, running around 45 miles an hour, it is definitely conceivable that some of those winds are getting pushed down to the ground by the heavy rain that's falling too. So certainly can't rule out some 30 to 40 mile an hour winds in and around the Holly Springs area, particularly to their southeast. So that's what's going on around the metro. Again, those storms up to the northwest, we might see a couple of those as we go into the evening, maybe mainly for the northern part of the metro, but otherwise we should probably going to see some of that die off as it comes in. And I think what I'd like to do, let's see if I can do this. I'm going to try and switch over to my browser here, and I may completely lose my screen share doing that. I know my producer Richard is there. He might be able to give me a hand here. I'd like to go over to Chrome and see if we can pull up the HRRR model.
Yeah, go ahead and switch your screen. I've got my GR3 up.
All right. Oops. Back to you.
Okay. Yeah, if you'd like to help us out a little bit, you can always go to patreon.com/MemphisWeather1. Give a shout out to our Patreon subscribers out there already. If you'd like to be a Patreon subscriber, head to that address. Links are in the description. And we would appreciate your support. We've got some cool things headed our way and on our future plans, so to speak. So patreon.com/MemphisWeather1.
Yeah, and we appreciate you doing that. And if you are watching us on YouTube, make sure that you have already hit the subscribe button on the channel and that you are getting notifications when we go live as well. We plan more of these, so hit that little bell to make sure that you're notified when we go live, and you'll be able to tune in with us as we bring those to you. So what I've got here is our high resolution rapid refresh model. We frequently call that the HRRR, or the HRRR, and we're looking at kind of the forked, what radar might look like as we head into the evening hours. And I do think that I'm going to zoom in just a little bit more here, give you a tighter look at Memphis. And you can see that it is picking up kind of at the beginning of this model, the fact that there are some thunderstorms pretty close to the state line. It's got the little cluster up there to the northwest that we were looking at, and some scattered storms to the south. And as we move forward in time, this is 7 p.m. here, you can see those cells right along the state line it thinks are going to kind of die off as we go into the next hour or so, with some of the little bit stronger storms down to the south over in North Mississippi, and you see the activity up to the north. Also pretty spotty at that time. And there's 8 o'clock, and we see that even more dissipation taking place as we head into the evening. Couple little showers around, and that line kind of forms about where the outflow boundary and the front are situated by that time, south of the metro. Scattered storms kind of across North Mississippi there. And then by 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock, it's pretty much all gone from our immediate area. So it does look like, as I was alluding to earlier, that we may see this stuff around for about an hour or so here, and then it will start to die off. And I'll just take this out through the overnight hours, and it is showing nothing going on that far out either. And that even takes us into tomorrow morning, and it's blank. So that's a good thing. We're looking like this may be the strongest that we get here. Going into the overnight and tomorrow morning hours. And actually, we probably won't see thunderstorms again until maybe Friday afternoon. We'll be going to see this front starting to lift back to the north as a warm front, and bring us another round of potential showers and thunderstorms scattered on Friday afternoon. And then Saturday looks like it might be kind of wet, which will hold temperatures down. But if you've got outdoor activities on Saturday, you're going to want to keep an eye on that, because that might not be, might have to have a plan B for some of those. Richard, I'm going to let you pull that back to GR3 for a minute, and I'm going to stop sharing this. Thanks. And hopefully you still have my audio. Is the audio still good, Richard?
Yes,
okay,
you are
good.
still good.
Yep. Thanks. we're learning, folks.
Yeah.
We're figuring out how to work this. We haven't had a lot of experience with it, so between the two of us, handing off and sharing different things, getting this stuff to work so that we can make sure that when there is severe weather, we can definitely make this as fluid as possible and as seamless as we can make it, as far as the technology, at least as far as technology allows us to. So that's what's going on right now. I think we'll get ready to sign off here. If you've got any quick questions you want to ask, throw them in the comments on YouTube or hit us up on Twitter real quick, and we'll answer those. Otherwise, we're going to call this the end of this practice session and hope you got some information out of it. Again, as Richard said, we will be doing more of these. We've got a lot of things in the pipeline. We appreciate your support. Make sure that you're downloading the app, and make sure that you're going to Patreon and being a supporter of us there as well. All of that goes right back into the products that you see and that we're providing to you. So we want to make sure that we can provide the best information we can and use all the right tools to do it. And so we do appreciate you joining us at Patreon. And we'll throw in a few goodies on there once in a while too. You'll get a little behind the scenes action. And as we're developing the new app, we will probably throw some screenshots and stuff in there just so you can see how all that's going to work. That's exclusively to those who support us through Patreon, and we appreciate you doing that. And also make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube and hit that bell so that we can make sure that you get notification when we go live. Anybody got any questions or anything out there, Richard, that we should be taking?
I don't see any at the moment. Don't see any questions on Twitter, Facebook. I don't see any there, as well as YouTube. So it looks pretty quiet right now.
All right. Well, I hope everyone has a good, quiet, safe evening tonight, and maybe you got a little bit of rain. We'll take what we can get at this point, heading into fall, which sometimes can be a little bit drier, so we don't need any more long stretches of dry weather for sure as we head into the fall. But we'll take the cooler temperatures, and that looks like that's what's in the forecast, is 80s across the board for highs for the next several days. So we'll take it, and we appreciate you joining tonight. And we'll let you know again. Watch on YouTube or on Twitter and Facebook. We'll let you know when we go live again. Thanks, everybody, for joining tonight, and hope you have a great night.